Welcome back, my friends, to another video. How's everybody doing today? Hello. For anybody new, my name is Meg. I am lactose intolerant, I am gluten intolerant, and I eat on a phase 3 low FODMAP diet with a crazed kitty in the background running around. But I eat on a phase 3 low FODMAP diet for digestive reasons. It also means that I know what FODMAPs bother me, so I can reduce the ones that do and don't have to worry about the ones that don't seem to bother me. Today we're doing things just a little bit different than normal. I have a whole bunch of meal prep I need to get done. We'll have a sit down chat. Okay, so I got my coffee. Now let's have a sit down chat. So I went and talked to my nutritionist. I like to go and do that every few months, kind of just like as a check-in to, look at the things that I've been eating, make sure also that they're doing okay with my stomach, reevaluate my goals, that sort of thing. And this time when I went in, I am trying to lean out. And my progress, I have made progress, but my progress has slowed a lot, like a lot. And this is something I normally don't talk about, but as far as talking to my nutritionist, sorry, cat in the background, I want to explain myself. So I talked to them about this and expressed that I really need to start getting back on track. And when I was doing like Mediterranean-ish, I'm gonna put the ish on the end of that diet, I was making more progress. And so I was thinking about wanting to get back on that. And they said that was probably a good idea. It's an anti-inflammatory diet. A lot of my digestive issues are inflammatory. And so, it's kind of a good thing, at least from how I understand it and how it's been explained to me. I put the ish on the end, by the way, because I've done research, but I'm still not great at having like a true Mediterranean diet. Even though the Mediterranean diet is everything in moderation, I'm still not great at it. But that's kind of like the goal. So to get back on that, I thought it would be a good idea to do a whole bunch of meal prep. So I have things done. I don't have to think about it. And I think that would be good. Normally I don't show a whole bunch of meal prep. Normally I just do that when I can. But I thought it would be great now that I'm trying to like center back in on a goal to show my meal prep. So that's what we're doing today. We're doing meal prep. And believe it or not, I actually have a plan. I know, everybody's really shocked about that, right? What you're gonna be like even more shocked about? I changed the board. I know, right? So what's on the list? Number 1, I'm trying to point stare at the screen. This is gonna go well. Gluten-free flour, I'm completely out. Gluten-free flour is very expensive, especially the good quality stuff, which is the best stuff. So I make my own mixture. And I like the fact that I can control the ingredients better. So I need to make more of that. English muffins. I made some gluten-free English muffins a couple weeks ago. They were delicious. I would like to make some more for breakfasts. The cat is on top of the fridge now. So, sorry. And so for breakfast, I could do like avocado toast with English muffins. Then bread. My husband, Mike, is not gluten-free. So this is going to be some regular bread from him. Cat. What are you doing? Are you chasing I think he's chasing his tail. Yogurt. I love me some yogurt, so we're gonna make some more of that. Veggies. I need to get the veggies chopped up. I need to make Mike dressing. Mike wanted salads this week for his lunch. He's like on board with this whole thing, which I love. So I'm gonna make him, I think, a creamy avocado dressing that I found a recipe for. He loves creamy dressings. Chicken for the salads and for snacking for lunch, all that stuff. And then I'm gonna make some boiled eggs. Like I said, things could get added to this list. That is the goal today, but I already am ahead of the curve because yogurt takes so long to make. I already jumped in and made yogurt first thing this morning. So we'll show you guys how I did that. The only way I know how to make yogurt is in the Instant Pot.
That's actually the reason why I got an Instant Pot. But the recipe, of course, will be down in the description box. So I have a gallon, well, almost a gallon of milk. My cat some cereal this morning. Eagle-eyed viewers might notice that this is not lactose-free milk. I recently acquired these, which are lactase drops that you can add to milk to make it lactose-free-ish. I added 50 drops to this gallon of milk. Hopefully that's enough. You can go up to like 70 some to it says to make it like 99% lactose free, but according to what I've read, the longer it sits, the better it works. We're giving this a try. Like I said, I put 50 drops in 2 days ago. So hopefully this is good to go, but this is a gallon, almost a gallon of fat-free milk. Normally I only make a half a gallon, so I only have about 1/8 of a cup of yogurt from my last batch here. We'll make it work. And then because I make skyr, however you say it. I'm saying it wrong, I know it. I use rennet in it as well, but just to make regular yogurt, skip the rennet. But yeah, I'm just going to get this dumped into the Instant Pot and get it on the boil setting, which brings it up to 190 degrees and holds it there for, I want to say it's like 15 or 20 minutes. And that just breaks down the milk so that it can be turned into yogurt. You can leave this open, and then you just want to click yogurt until it says boil, and then wait until it beeps. And then it's done with that step. It has finished that process. The liner is rather hot, but we need to either pull this out and let this sit at room temperature and cool down for a couple of hours. Or you can do it my way and take this liner and put it in a sink of cool water. Then we need to let it cool till it's like 100, 105 degrees. I have put it back in my Instant Pot now, and here I have my yogurt. Like I said, I wish I had twice this much. This is enough for like a half a gallon of milk. But you want this because it's got all those good active live cultures that they're always talking about in yogurt, to add to this. This is from my previous batch. When I finish a batch, I take some out, put it in a container, put it in the freezer. Some people say don't put it in the freezer. I've never had problems putting it in the freezer. If you don't have any to start, just buy a lactose, or if you can find a lactose-free yogurt, get that. If not, get a Greek yogurt and one of those little containers and use that to start off with. It should, even if you're as sensitive as I am, that distributed in the whole thing should be fine. But the next step is I'm going to scoop out some of this milk, add it to my yogurt here, mix it around, and then dump that back in and stir it with a clean spoon, of course, with the milk for like 30 seconds, a minute. You know, try to make sure it's nice and distributed. Gonna put my lid on, going to leave the vent open, and then we're gonna go back down here to the yogurt button. The recipe that I have also gives directions for other Instant Pots that doesn't have a yogurt button, so check there if you have any questions. But there's the boil, there's 24 hours, and then I want this one. I'm going to go 6-hour incubation. 5 is, I think, the minimum I would suggest. I'm going to go for 6. And when this counts up to 6 hours, we will have yogurt. Now is the moment of truth to see whether the amount of inoculant of yogurt that I put in was enough. So let's peek. I'm nervous. Oh yeah, that is yogurt. Yes, it worked. So I'm gonna get this pulled out so it can start cooling off. It is time to strain my yogurt. It has cooled off most of the way down to room temperature. So I have these nesting bowls, a big bowl with a strainer in it. Just basically get a bowl that's bigger than your strainer if you don't have awesome nesting bowls. And then you're gonna want a towel, cheesecloth, something like that to set inside of your bowl.
like this, and then you'll just dump your yogurt in this, and the cheesecloth will help keep the yogurt from going through the strainer, but it will get rid of all of the excess whey. I've never made this much yogurt, like a gallon's worth of yogurt before, so this is a lot. So let's see how this goes. It just fit. It literally just fit in this. Holy smokes, look at that. It's like at the top. The longer you let this strain, the thicker it's gonna be. Like just doing a quick strain for like 30 minutes, that's gonna be like regular yogurt. Going for a few hours is gonna be closer to Greek yogurt. Me, I like mine thick. So normally I let mine go overnight, like 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours. So I'm just, like I said, I'll strain out this amount and then I'll put it in the fridge and let it go overnight. What I have here is the stuff to make my gluten-free flour. I'll leave the link to the article where I found the recipe down below, but we'll go over everything that I got here. So first we'll make the gluten-free flour. It's a mock better than batter recipe, I think. I've got pre-ground brown rice flour here, white rice for making white rice flour, cornstarch, which I'm almost out of. That's going to be the limiting factor on how much I make today. Xanthan gum, plain instant mash. If you can find potato flour, awesome. I can't, so I use these. And then pectin. I think that's everything that goes into it. So we'll get the rice ground up and get all of this mixed up to make the flour. And then I'm also, while I'm at it, I'm out of oat flour, so I have some steel cut oats in this container. I'll just run those through the grinder on my KitchenAid, my fancy grinder on my KitchenAid as well. This doesn't get things like super, super fine. There are better machines for that, but it's good enough for me. But yeah, let's get the gluten-free flour made up really fast. Takes like almost no time at all. It's so fast to make your own flour. And honestly, like for me, having a lot of these things available in bulk bins, it's like half the price, at least. I forgot an ingredient. I forgot my tapioca flour. I had it out and then I put it away because I was like, no, wait, I don't need tapioca flour. Yeah, I need tapioca flour. There are all the ingredients put in there, so all I have to do is just mix this up and that's it. That's done. But that's all that's been involved in making the gluten-free flour that I've been having super good luck baking with. Like, I can't recommend this recipe enough for making like breads and stuff. I don't know about cakes. I've never tried it with cakes or anything, but for bread, this stuff is pretty good, at least in my experience. Bread making time. These are the ingredients for the bread. It is the Betty Crocker bread recipe. I'm pretty sure it's available online. If it is, I'll link it down below. And also, sorry about the planes. I've been trying to record between the planes, but it's become impossible. So if you hear them, I'm so sorry. But I'm gonna have to push through. Like I said, I have the yeast, water, and sugar proofing in here. And in my stand mixer, I have the flour, salt, and the shortening in here. I'm making a half a batch. This is going to be whole wheat sandwich bread, by the way. So basically, I'm pretty sure my yeast is good to go. So I found this big thing of yeast at the store for less than $4. It's amazing. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the sugar, yeast, and water mixture in there, and then we will get the stand mixer going with the bread attachment. So what we're looking for on this is basically for it to come together and pull away from the sides when it's like properly mixed. If I need to add more flour, I can always start with the lowest amount of flour possible on any recipe that you're making, because literally the weather can make a difference on how much flour you use. It's not that hard even. I used to make it a whole bunch before I got the stand mixer by hand. It's not too bad that way either. It's just a little bit more labor intensive, but the stand mixer is great for making bread. I think that's the reason why Mike got this for me years and years and years and years ago.
was for making bread. And I thank him for it every time I use it. I'm so thankful for it. But I'm gonna let this go for a little while and see if it comes together, and then we'll get it like processing till it's done. Oh my gosh. I keep getting like distracted. I get phone calls, I get people at the door today. I've never been so, I feel so popular today, but it's also quite distracting. But the bread dough is done. How I tell when it's done is I pull on it, and when everything seems to like go in the same direction, that to me, and it gets like almost like a dull satin texture to it, that's when it's done. I'm going to take a little bit of oil. I'm going to spray the surface with it. This is going to help lock in the moisture in the dough so it doesn't dry out. And then I'm going to cover it. I have a silicone top. You can just cover it with saran wrap or a moist rag. But I have a silicone top, so I'm just going to try to put that on top of this. There we go. And then to keep the cat from chewing on it, because he loves chewing on silicone everything, bags, tops. That cat chews on everything. And then I'm going to, when I have an extra hand, because it's kind of on there, I'm going to take this off of the stand mixer, put it somewhere warm to rise until the classic doubled in size, and then we'll go to the next step for that. But I've already started getting together like the ingredients for the English muffins that I'm going to make, so we'll switch out this bowl and get those started. So I think I have just about everything put together. In here is the milk shortening vinegar, and it asks for molasses. I don't have that, so maple syrup is what I replaced it with. That's in here. I still need to scramble up my egg. And these are all the dry ingredients: the flour, the yeast, the sugar, and the salt, and the baking soda. I think that's everything that went into this. But this recipe is like half of the original batch. So I'm just gonna get this all mixed up so that I can get this rising as well. I am running so far behind schedule today. I can't believe how popular I have been today. It's crazy, I'm never this popular. But yeah, I'll get this together and so we can move on. Because this meal prep was only supposed to it wasn't supposed to take like this long to get this far. I never think it is though. And it always takes way longer than I think it's going to. Good thing I have most of today to do this, because I'm apparently gonna need it. I know that this is looking really, really loose to be able to like roll out and make muffins out of, but trust the process, guys. This dough turns out like perfect. Just follow the directions and trust it. All right, so there it is, done. It's about the consistency of like cookie dough right now. So what I need to do is get a surface to lay this out on. I've already cleaned this up. This is going to be my biscuit cutter. It's just a ring off of a wide mouth canning jar. I have my brown rice flour here, and I'm going to sprinkle this out. And what I want to do is I want to scrape this out onto my very floured surface, and then we're gonna start the process of like getting this rolled out. There's actually already a video for how to make this recipe, so I'm not going to go too in depth. If you just follow the link for the recipe that I leave in the description for this, the video is in it. So that was a handy resource that I did actually use myself. But I'm going to try to get this flour down and rolled out as best I can. The last time I made these, I made them too thin, honestly. So this time I'm trying to do a little bit better about making them a little bit bigger. So there is the first one. As you can see, most of that brown rice flour that I put down is already gone. So you need to really, really flour this. But I did get 6 total, so I'm going to get a moist towel over the top of this, like a lightly damp towel over the top of this, and I think it rises for an hour. Let me double check. No, way wrong. 20 minutes. They'll be rising for 20 minutes. And then we will get them on the cast iron first and then the oven to finish. I love English muffins. I have missed them. They're one of the things I've missed. And this recipe is pretty good. I haven't had a store-bought English muffin that is as good as these ones. There they are, all cooked up on the cast iron. Next, I'm gonna throw them in the oven for a little while. And then I guess I'll check the bread when these are done and see how that is doing. Look how big and puffy they are. They'll shrink down a little bit as they cool, but isn't that just like fun? That's just so fun. And they're delicious, and I'm looking forward to eating them. So the wheat dough has risen to double its size. So now it's time to form the loaf. So I'm gonna put it out on my counter, my nice clean counter. And ideally I would use a rolling pin to roll this out because that would be the proper thing to do. But I'm just gonna use my hands to try to get this kind of flattened out a little bit. So this is the loaf pan it's going to go in. So I want it the size of the loaf pan plus like an extra inch or so on either side. And then I'm going to roll it up. This is gonna help prevent getting a whole bunch of air pockets in it. And if you look at even like store-bought bread, there's kind of a swirl in it. It's because it's rolled. And then the reason why you want to make it a little bit long is you want to take the seam side and fold the little ends in. And then you want to kind of like pinch everything together. But after you roll it out, fold the ends in and pinch the seam down, you just want to put it in your loaf pan and boom, seam side down. So I'm going to get a damp towel, put this over the top of it, put it back in a warm spot so it can finish its second rise. While the bread was rising, I decided to take my chicken, seasoned it up with salt, pepper, paprika, and turmeric, and threw it in the oven 450 for about 15 minutes. And then the chicken for the salads, for Mike's salads, was done. Then I shredded up the vegetables. The carrots, I use this cool little contraption that makes these, you shred it and it makes these little ribbons. Very, very cool. And then I chopped up the romaine salad as well, a couple heads for him. And that was the vegetable prep done. And if you're wondering about the boiled eggs, yes, I made them, but I totally forgot to film it. Bread is done rising, so we're gonna get this in the oven. The bread did eventually finish cooking though. Look at it in its glory. I topped it the way Mike likes it with a little bit of melted butter and salt. Gathered up everything for the salad dressing, grabbed some herbs out of the garden. Asked for basil, and I was like, whatever, I'll use that instead, and it will be fine. Obviously not low FODMAP. It has garlic and honey in it. I guess you could omit the garlic and switch that out for maple syrup. And then it could be low FODMAP. I don't know. I haven't done the math. But avocado, a really sad lemon, salt, pepper, apple cider vinegar, oil, some stone ground mustard. As for whole seed mustard, that's what I have. And then, oh my gosh, look at this. My honey has completely crystallized because I never use honey because it's not low FODMAP. I've had that forever. But we'll make it work. I also grabbed out some stuff for hummus. Oh wait, that's cannellini beans. I need chickpeas. There we go. That's better. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get all of this stuff in the blender. Of course, recipe down below. Same thing with the hummus. I'll see if I can find a low FODMAP hummus recipe. It shouldn't be too hard. And that will be that. And then I'll be basically done. That literally has to be the smallest avocado pit I have seen in like my entire life. I just had to share that. Got all the ingredients loaded in my blender, so I guess I'll get this just mixed up. It isn't showing up on camera, but this is like the prettiest, like almost pistachio green color. Very pretty. So I did end up finding a low FODMAP recipe. I basically already had everything out for it like I thought I would. Can of chickpeas or garbanzo beans, whatever your preference is to call them. Some tahini, garlic infused oil, salt, pepper, and some lemon. So there's everything in the blender bottle. I'm gonna go ahead and get this blended up. Hopefully it will blend up okay. I have a feeling it's gonna be a little thick, but we'll give her a go. Hummus is all done. I ended up having to add like a full quarter cup of water to this to get it to the texture that I prefer, but it doesn't taste half bad and it looks pretty darn good if you ask me. I also got bored waiting on the bread, so I chopped up some carrot sticks, put them in this mason jar with a little bit of water. So now I have something to eat with my hummus. So it is the next day and my yogurt has strained. I got 1 full quart and then about half of this container, obviously. We already ate some of it, but I want to show you guys how thick the yogurt I make is. Sorry if you hear panting in the background. The dogs just got back from a walk. But this is how thick I like my yogurt. I like it like super duper thick. So straining overnight will get you that thickness. But I think that is where we will call it for this meal prep video. I learned something very valuable about myself while doing this meal prep, this larger than normal meal prep, and that's that my time management skills suck. I mean, they're bad. So yeah, next time I'm definitely gonna try to like sit down and schedule how to like cook things a little bit better so I'm not spending so many hours cooking in the kitchen. But if you guys enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any more content like this. And I will see you guys back here next week. Bye, guys.